So hello guys, welcome to another video on getting started with web development in PHP. And in this video we are going to set up the code editor, or you can call it the IDE for PHP development. I would recommend Code, but you can use any other IDE you want, or even a notepad, but I would not recommend using a notepad, of course. I would recommend any other text editor that you like, or Code, which is pretty famous nowadays. So, well, it's not that it's famous that we're using it because it has a lot of features and it's useful. And I use it a lot, so yes. Okay, so you can go to this website, it'll probably be in the description. You can go there, download it, and once you've downloaded it, install it. So I've already have it installed, so we're gonna move on to that. Okay, so after we have the VS Code installed, all you need to do is go into this section of VS Code, or this tab, and search for the extension that I'm gonna list. So the first extension is bracket pair colorizer, and it is basically what it says in its name. It colorizes the brackets differently depending on the level of bracket. So the first level bracket is a different color than the second level bracket, and that helps actually to find some specific code that you're looking for. Okay, so the next extension is bookmarks, and it's a pretty handy extension. It's pretty useful. I would say I use it a lot in my coding and whenever I code. It's basically you can set shortcuts on different files and lines, and you can skip with a hotkey to that line whenever you want to. You can jump to them. It basically explains what it does in its description, and it's pretty handy. Okay, so the next extension is format HTML in PHP, and it's very handy if you want to format your code, and it actually makes it easier to find whatever you're looking for in your code, and it's very useful. I would just say install it without thinking. It's a no-brainer. Just get it. Okay, so this next extension is a bit of a personal preference. If you want it, you should install it. I would recommend you install it, but it's all on your personal preference. It basically helps you find specific types of files and even folders sometimes. It highlights the folder icon, not highlight, but changes the icon of the folder, and depending on the name of the folder, also it changes the file types, the file icons depending on the file types. It's very useful to find some files if you have a lot of files like me sometimes. It's very useful. Okay, so this next extension is basically what you need for to support add PHP support into VS Code, and it's very useful. It adds auto completion and a lot of other things. And this is basically optional PHP debug, but if you want it, you can get it, and it may be useful later. I don't think I'm gonna use this in our tutorials if you didn't, but if you want it and want to play with it, you can check it out. But this is what we're gonna need: PHP IntelliSense. You should definitely install this. So that's it, folks, for our extension installation. Now we're gonna move on to project creation and setting up, basically. All right, so let's move on to creating our project, and let's create a folder for that in the htdocs folder in the XAMPP installation that we did in the last part. Let's just name it to do app, and that's what we're gonna be creating in the next few parts of this series. Let's also open it with code, and you can open it with from here, or you can open code and open it from there with the open folder option in here. So you can directly open it from the folder, or go to file and open folder from there. Let's create a new file in here, name it index.php, and just say doc, and it's gonna insert all this for you. That's it's the HTML boilerplate. I think this is built into VS Code, so you don't need to add any extension in for this. and let's just name to do app. So what this title does is, let me show you. Let me start our SAMP server. So once it's up, start the Apache server. This is the web server. You don't need to start the database right now, which is MySQL. You don't need to start that. And go to localhost / to do app. So that's what it does. To do the title is the tab title. This title sets this text right here in the browser. Also, it appears also down here. So this is a pretty important thing on your website. Alright, so let's also add a heading first. Let's add a heading at the top and make it to do app. Alright, and a form with two inputs in here for now. First one is gonna be of type text, and another like input type submit. So the first input creates a text field in which you can enter text, and the second one creates a button which is used to submit this form. And let's also add the name of the field, which is going to be title, and the submit button does not need a name. So this name is going to be used to identify this field when the data of this field when it is submitted or on the page with JavaScript. Also, let's add a list UL and list item. Okay, so this list item is like a placeholder. This is going to be replaced with real data in the next few episodes or parts of this video. So if you want to know how I did this, it's Shift, Alt, and down arrow key. So let's add 4 or 5 of these for now, and we're gonna add more styling to it. But this is basically the components that we're gonna need. We might add more later, but this is how it's gonna look. Not how it's gonna look like, but these are the things that it's gonna show. We can change its style vastly by CSS, and maybe even adding more elements into the li, like a button right here with an X in it. Basically, there's many ways to do this, but alright, let's see how it looks now. So there you go. You can delete them now with that button. Not now, but it's we're gonna add functionality in the next few videos, and that's the first to do. I'm gonna change that later with CSS for now, but for now this is it, folks, and goodbye.